Jordan. Let me ask you this question, Jordan. Let me tell you, did you just sit right there and hear a tale? Tale from about a faithful ship. Started from a tropic port aboard this tiny ship. The mate was a mighty sailing man, the skipper brave and sure. 5 passengers set sail that day.
Right.
On a 3-hour tour.
When they started getting rough, the tiny ship was tossed. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, the minnow would be lost. The minnow would be lost. The ship's aground on the shore of this uncharted desert isle, with Gilligan, the skipper too, a millionaire and his wife, the movie star, the professor and Mary Ann, here on Gilligan's Island.
Got it. Okay.
With Gilligan, the skipper too, the millionaire
and his wife,
the movie star, and the rest.
Professor and Mary Ann.
No, Jordan. Season 1. Season 1.
Gilligan's Island.
It's just the rest. They don't get to be Professor and Mary Ann until season 2.
Professor and Mary Ann.
No, this is the return or the rescue from Gilligan's Island, which is a TV movie that is technically a sequel to the original show. So when I was watching this, it kind of occurred. People always give the streaming movie such shit, but prior to the streaming movie, the TV movie was very much a thing. And the TV movie was pretty much what the streaming movie was. It was movies you never asked for about stuff you never asked to see anything about. And what I didn't realize so the plot of this is that they've been stuck on Gilligan's Island for 15 years. And this came out 10 years after the original show stopped airing. Which, when you think about it, it's a 3-season sitcom. Most of these people have moved on. The fact that they all came back for a TV movie is kind of admirable when you think about it. You're like, they came back to these characters, and it's really funny because, like, you can tell it's been 10 years since they've done it because a lot of the movie is them trying to find the groove again. They're also, a number of them are, like, too old. So the Gilligan and Skipper relationship of Skipper yells at him, Gilligan, is now weird because now the Skipper is an even more elderly man and Gilligan is an old man who is wearing a wig, like a really bad wig. There's a point where he falls in the water and the wig is falling off and the wig doesn't remotely match. And I can say this comfortably because I watched like 3 episodes of the original show just for fun. And his hair, the wig he's wearing, doesn't remotely match the hair color he had on the show. In fact, it kind of reminded me of, you remember the episode where his hair falls out and Marianne and Ginger make him in Skipper wigs?
Yeah.
It looks like one of the wigs that they make him in that episode. It's just that bad. And the beginning of the movie is more or less just like a series of episodes just kind of strung together, but missing the canned laughter. But all of the actors are, unlike the Brady Bunch movie where it was intentional, they're all pausing for the canned laughter that doesn't exist. So it's kind of like that those viral videos of the Friends, like Friends without canned laughter, where it's creepy, where they just stop talking for like 10 seconds in between because they're clearly waiting to deliver these lines with the
Makes me think of the Family Guy episode where it's Stewie and Brian watching episode 1 them, and they're like, what are they doing? Why are they just sitting there?
Yeah.
I think they're doing cutaways.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very similar to that. And so the other funny bit is the Tina Louise.
That's what that makes me think of.
The actress who who plays Ginger refused to come back. So she's just a completely different actress now. So it's like, wow, Ginger, you sure got different in those 15 years. Man, you sure look different. How different you look living on an island. Honestly, the one who doesn't look old, like Thurston Howell, forget the name of the actor who plays him. He still looks pretty good. Like, he's starting to look a bit old by this point. But the one who honestly looks the best and doesn't look like she's aged a day, is Mrs. Howell. Mrs. Howell doesn't look like she's aged a day in this movie. The rest of them, like even Mary Ann, she kind of looks a bit older, but she still looks pretty good considering it's been 10 years since they've done the show. The inciting incident of this movie is vague Soviet-era Russians accidentally drop a piece of a satellite, because it's 1970s, onto the island, and Gilligan finds it, and the professor uses this thing to create a barometer, which he determines it's Gilligan's Island. He determines that he can use this to track the weather patterns and the winds on the ocean, so they can tie all of their and it turns out there's going to be like a big storm or something, and they can use this big storm to get away, and they tie all of the huts together to make a big boat. And there's a point where they're about to tie each other into this boat or whatever, and Mrs. Howell is like, "Where's Fifi? We need Fifi." And everyone in the cast is like, basically like, "Who the fuck is Fifi?" Like, yeah, 3 seasons of television, never had a dog once, but now you have a Fifi, sure. And Gilligan's like, I'll go get him, and he goes to leave, and the professor's like, "No, stop! You'll never make it back in time." It's like, wow, it sure seems like the professor doesn't like Gilligan all that much.
Fifi! Fifi isn't here! Thurston, we forgot Fifi!
Fifi?
Oh, that poor little poodle! She'll never hear us over all this storm! Won't somebody please go get Fifi? Oh, Fifi! Here! Fifi, Fifi, Fifi! Here! Fifi, Fifi, Fifi! Fifi?
Fifi? I'll go get her for you, Mrs. Howell.
Gilligan!
Do you think we'll find her in time?
I doubt it, my dear.
Oh, Thurston, how can you be so cruel? How can you say such a thing?
Lovely, because we didn't take Fifi with us. Don't you remember? We left her at home, on the paper.
We did?
15 years ago.
Gilligan's out there, and I'm going after him.
Skipper, you'll never find him in that storm.
And he's my little buddy, and nothing's going to stop him.
Why are you trying to murder Gilligan?
He got over Gilligan's death pretty quickly there.
No, stop.
Come back. Our lives would be much easier without you around.
Well, we tried.
Stop. And there's just, this movie's so bizarre because when I was watching it, there was a series of dirty jokes and references that made me go, I don't remember this show being this dirty. Like, these are like kind of modern sitcom jokes. Like, this is odd. Like, there's a bit where they eventually they get rescued and they get brought into Hawaii, which I didn't realize the cruise left from Hawaii, but they wind up back in Hawaii. And
I didn't really think about it. I just knew that it was from this tropic port.
Well, it's funny because I watched the pilot of Gilligan's Island, and there was a bunch of stuff that, like, I've seen that episode so many times. I knew it. Like, I knew that the skipper obviously isn't his real name, but his name is Jonas Grimby. Like, that's the professor's name, or the skipper's name.
No,
and,
I'm sorry. No, Justin.
I can't remember what they say the professor's name is. But
he's the skipper.
What's funny is the subtitles call him Jonas on Amazon Prime, or on Tubi. Sorry, they call him Jonas. They don't call him the skipper. I thought that was interesting. But anyway, so they get brought into Hawaii, and they're all famous now, and they all separate and go back to their lives. And the plot of this from the second half is, in order to get paid, in order for the insurance company to pay for the Minnow 1 or to pay for the Minnow 2, he needs to get the other castaways to sign off that the Minnow 1 crash landing on that island was an accident. And so it's basically, the movie from that point on is they go to visit a cast member, they're going through a thing, and Gilligan and the skipper help them out with their problem, and then they move on to the next person. But the problems that they have are like PG-13 problems. So like they show up to Marianne's place. Oh, the first thing is they get back, and as they're going back, there's a bunch of really funny scenes where the actor who plays the professor breaks the actor who's playing Alan Hale, I think is what his name is, the guy who's playing the skipper, where they're making jokes and they laugh in a sincere, genuine way that you could tell that's them breaking. Like there's a point where they're sailing the ship and the professor walks up and he's like, Skipper, what you thinking about? And he's like, I'm thinking about all the ladies that are going to be waiting for me when I get back.
Then I know what you're thinking about. That's what I thought. You've got about 15 minutes before you relieve Gilligan on watch.
Thanks, Professor. That's just enough time for me to go through my list of girlfriends again.
And they both laugh, and it's a genuine, like, actual, sincere laugh. And he's like, that's what I thought you were thinking about. But eventually, and it's the only reason why I know I've seen this, because I wasn't sure if I had seen this, but the one joke I remember from this movie is I remember the skipper, and I remember it from a different movie, but I remember it. I remember the joke where the skipper's like, when we left for the island, you're not going to be able to see, so just picture my leg. But he's like, when we left for the island, skirts were down to here, and then they came back up to here, and then they came down to here. Gilligan, we missed a whole period when the skirts were up to here.
And miniskirts. We even missed the miniskirts.
What are miniskirts?
Remember when we left? Women's skirts were clear down to here. While we were gone, they came up to here. Now they're back down to here again. Gilligan, we missed from here to here.
Taught by paintbrush.
And I'm like, this is an oddly dirty joke for Gilligan's Island.
Oh,
Like,
no, it's not.
Right. It doesn't. It feels off, but you can't quite put your finger on why.
But not a lot. Like not.
But enough.
Not that off. But like yeah.
Enough.
It feels like the version of like they would tell the same joke, but they would find a cleaner way to say it.
Exactly. It's way exact. Not as clean cut as I. But so there's a point where. So they go eventually to get Ginger. They start off with Ginger, and Ginger has gone back to Hollywood, and Ginger is not fitting in because she keeps telling them, I won't get naked. She's like, I won't do nude scenes. I won't do nude scenes. I won't do sex scenes. I won't do nude scenes. And they eventually meet up with her, and she signs the thing for them or whatever. And she goes to the director's like, I'm not doing it. And the director's like, I never said you had to do any nude scenes, but you could maybe da-da-da. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of dark. It's funny. I was like, oh yeah, there's the skipper, there's Gilligan, movie star, the movie star who says problematic things. And one of the episode, she's like, in several of the episodes, she's like, yeah, man, when I did that movie, when I did such and such movie, I had to worry about this thing. I had to fight off this thing. And it was mostly the producers. Or she's like, it's like in one of the episodes where they get the hot water. And she's like, I'm finally going to be able to have a bath. It's just like my uncle said when he was making that movie about the Indians. No more red skin. Yeah. I was like, oh, like you're expecting like Thurston Howell or like the professor or like the skipper because they're like middle-aged men in the 1960s. You're expecting them to say the problematic shit. No, Jordan. She says a lot of questionable things where you're like, it sure sounds like you were taking advantage of, Ginger. Like these are concerning things that you're saying. These are concerning things.
I mean, I was just the redskin part. I was like, that's.
That's just one of the many concerning things she says, Jordan. So they end up going to all the different. So the second person they go to is the professor, who is getting what I would describe as molested by a woman. Like she tries to kiss him and he's like, no, thank you. And then she tries to kiss him again and she's like, no, thank you. And then she's like making out with him as he's like fighting her off. And I'm like, oh yeah, right. It's the 1970s. Consent doesn't matter. And he's like, I can't do any of the research I want to do because all the ladies won't leave me alone because I'm hot. And my boss wants me to do speeches about how I'm famous now or whatever. And then they wind up, they go to Marianne, who is about to marry the boyfriend that she had before she went to the island, who's waited for her for 15 years. And it's a scene that's she's very sad and upset about it, and it's tonally very strange because you're like, this is Gilligan's Island. This is strange. They eventually wind up going to meet the Thurstons, and the Thurstons are so interesting because I remember them being way more self-involved than they are. Like they show up. And to get them, they're like, can you sign the insurance papers? And they're like, of course we can. Of course we can. You guys are Gilligan and the skipper. You're the best. And they're like, do you need money? Do you need something? We can get you money. Do you need money? And he's like, no. And I was like, do you need a new boat? We'll buy you a boat. And they're just really like nice and sweet. And I'm like, I don't remember like, so when I was watching the first episode, or second episode, the professor's like, we can't go off because there's all these natives who will attack us, which is its own problematic thing. But there's a point where Mrs. Howell was like, then the professor said that this, and I was like, oh shit, like they actually do listen. Like my memory of them is like they didn't listen, and I was like, no, they actually do listen. Like they're
my
present
memory of
way more
them,
than I remember them being.
My memory of them was
billionaire, by the way.
I don't
remember how I asked how rich is he? Billionaire.
Yeah.
Billionaire.
Yeah. My memory of them, and this was maybe just because it was on television and they had to keep them friendly, but like they were like your eccentric
Aunt
grandparents.
And uncle. Grandparents.
Aunt and uncle,
yes,
grandparents.
Yes, completely. Yes. The funny bit about
like,
them,
they're not bad people, but all they've ever known is being rich. And now and that's kind of the joke where the humor comes with them is now they're on a place where their money means nothing, and they have to But
everyone still acts like their money means something, and that's what's funny.
Yeah,
it's like your money, like there's a point where he's bribing Gilligan with a case full of cash. And you're like, this is not worth the paper it's printed on right now. The paper it's printed on is honestly worth more because it could be used for fire. Well, the thing that got me was this movie pretends not this movie but the series, they're billionaires, and it acts as though them being billionaires is such an unfathomable amount of money that they have literal cases full of cash, and that's ridiculous. And the idea that in the 1968. A billionaire is an unfathomable concept to them.
I mean, arguably, it still is a lot of money. It's
yeah, but to them it's fictional.
It's just to them, it's like
real
cartoonish amount of money.
Yes, exactly. That to them, that's a cartoonish amount of money, which is crazy.
Like it would be the equivalent of like
today
that the cartoonish amount would be like whatever is more than a trillionaire.
Quadrillion, I guess, would be
quadrillionaire would be the cartoonish.
But anyway. The weirdest thing about this movie beyond anything else, it looked like I watched it on Tubi. It looked like shit. I couldn't find a good quality version of it. But the wildest bit is there's 3 more of them, and it ends. It's funny because this movie is kind of like a big long episode of the show, because the show was always like a lot of the episodes were like, oh, it looks like they're about to escape, and then they wind up back where they started. And that's what this is. They wind up on the Minnow 2 for Christmas. They're hanging out on the boat, and they're like, well, you know, the world has changed and we're not really fitting in. Things are hard, but we have each other at least. And the Gilligan's like, what if we went on another cruise or whatever? And it's funny because like you always hear the term 3-hour cruise, and I guess you're picturing a bigger boat, but it's just kind of a little yacht.
See, I don't picture a bigger boat. I picture having had some life experiences since when I watched this as a kid that I didn't have when I was a kid. When I picture a 3-hour tour, I remember that one time I went to Mexico and was on a boat that wasn't very big, absolutely. That was trolling for a couple hours.
Right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I picture now.
That's clearly what this was. The notion of going out on one of those boats and winding up on a deserted island seems ridiculous in the modern day. It really does. But what's the other bit that was funny about this?
No, it's not as ridiculous as you would think. If they're going into the deep waters,
no, Uncharted Islands don't really exist in that way anymore. Not really.
It depends on where you are in the world, but yeah.
They do exist in small, but we've pretty much explored like above ground. We've explored like 90. It's a high percentage. Not 90 is probably too high, but we've explored most of the where the lack of exploration has occurred is in the oceans. But now the idea of an uncharted island doesn't really.
It's not that I think that it would necessarily be uncharted, but there are definitely. I guess I should clarify. The modern day equivalent would be it's not uncharted. People know that island is there. It's uninhabited, and they have no reason to think you're on it.
Yeah, that is more likely. But even then, that technology is such that the Gilligan's Island probably
you wouldn't be lost
happen.
for 15 years. You might get lost for a year
if you survive.
Worst,
if you live.
If you survive.
But yeah, that's with them getting them crashing back.
We're talking about an impractical thing where like they're making radios out of coconuts. So
well, for the most part, within the first season anyway, everything they do. Because yes, it's funny because in the second episode, they're building huts with cross beams. Like there's a point where they're setting up cross beams and they're like sawing. And initially I was like, how are they setting up cross beams with a saw? And I went, well, to be fair, the minnow might have a first aid kit with a saw and various equipment in it for survival. So I'm like, okay.
There's certain things that I give them.
This remains grounded for the first season.
There's certain things that I give them. Like, even if they didn't have a saw, you can make tools.
Yeah,
tools can literally be made, right? Like, that's kind of what that's how they got made in the first place, right? Like, once you have the knowledge of like what a saw is like, you can theoretically make something that functions in the same way out of the scrap metal from the ship, right? That's not where I'm like, no. For me, where I'm like the ridiculous shit is like I said. When they're making like radio transponders out of coconuts.
Oh, the episode where they build the bomb to
even the bomb isn't in and of itself unreal.
The design of it
maybe.
The design of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say the design of it maybe, but like the notion of like being able to use chemicals and shit to make a bomb.
He drinks the nitroglycerin, and like now as an adult, I'm pretty sure if you drank nitroglycerin, it would melt your insides and you'd die. Like there wouldn't be this like you sit there for a minute and if you move, you explode. I don't think that's how nitroglycerin works. I'm pretty confident.
I'm pretty sure it would just pretty immediately cause you to throw it up.
Yeah, if it didn't give you immediate poisoning from
nitro.
What would happen if you drank nitroglycerin?
Let's do that. What would
see if I can beat you.
Happen.
What would happen if you drank nitroglycerin?
If you drank nitro.
Yeah, pretty much. This information should be taken for general knowledge and not specific medical advice. It says drinking pure liquid nitroglycerin would cause severe life-threatening cardiovascular collapse and so you would become pretty immediately poisoned.
You would be dead. You'd be dead
pretty immediately. Not necessarily from explosion, but from your heart.
No, just from your body rejecting and dying and being
poison.
liquefied.
You'd be poisoning yourself. I'm trying to think, is there anything else about Gilligan's Island?
I love when it says, consuming it in a liquid quantity, quote, a drink, constitutes a massive overdose. Immediate physical effects.
Overdose implies... See, I don't like... This is why you should never trust... why you should never trust AI, because that's... What do you mean overdose? Overdose implies that there's a correct amount that you can drink before it becomes an overdose. Overdose implies that there's a right amount that you can drink of it. You cannot drink nitroglycerin. Period.
I suppose that just means that any amount would be an overdose.
But the overdose implies that there's a dose that you can over on.
Immediate physical effects, just for fun. Ingesting liquid nitroglycerin causes immediate intense systemic failure.
Yeah, it's going to poison you. Your liver's going to attempt to dilute it, and it's going to poison your liver.
Extreme hypotension.
Yeah.
Your blood vessels completely and instantly open completely. So you'd have instant cardiovascular collapse. So like your brain and vital organs would just die. You'd faint immediately, be dizzy, and then you'd collapse. You would have a severe throbbing headache because of the dilation of the blood. You would have neurological breakdown. You'd have respiratory failure.
Jordan, here's the real question.
Internal chemical poison, gastrointestinal distress, and just a lot of things would go wrong. Let's just put it that way.
The list
Oh,
isn't-
and interesting enough, there would be a high risk of accidental explosion.
Oh shit! No kidding. Oh, okay.
Beyond the physiological toxicity, liquid nitroglycerin is highly unstable. Friction and shock sensitivity and pain, fatal internal
So there's
trauma.
a chance that you could drink
There's
it.
a chance you could
and
drink
it would
it and blow up.
expand in your esophagus from the friction of it going down your esophagus.
And it would blow up.
Because he doesn't actually end up drinking; he ends up drinking water in the episode. So that is a chance. So there is a chance it would blow you up. Look at that, Gilligan's Island, with the show with coconut radios. Turns out is slightly scientifically accurate. Who would have?
Who would have guessed?
Who would have guessed it? Yeah, I'd like to watch the other movies, but this was enough of a painful experience that I don't. What's really funny is the movie looks like shit. Like there's points where it does full body shots where the characters' faces are blurry. Like I couldn't see half of it. But Gilligan's Island looks crisp and clear. It's so weird.
To be fair, for some of those some of those older shows, in its defense, some of those older shows they've gone through and they've touched up, and that's why they can release it on Blu-ray. Is because they've gone so whatever version you're watching, the show version was probably like a re-release.
Probably a blue. That would make sense because I remember renting the original series on DVD from Rogers Video, and I remember being disappointed when it was in black and white because I was like, but I have the version I have is color, and then I remember busting out the version I have, which I wish I had easy access to.
So yeah, the version that you saw of the show that's better quality is probably a re-release.
Yes, I think they re-released it in syndication in color, or at least I think the
I
season I think they did.
I could believe that too.
I think it originally aired in black and white, and then it re-released in color. Well, the second and third season. The first season I think was always in black and white, but I wish I could find it. I thought it was on our shelf here, but it doesn't look like it is.
I'm pretty sure it is. I think it's behind some of the other things. Anyways, or either that, or maybe it was in the container that got gotten rid of.
No. It's definitely around here somewhere.
Anyways,
that's Gilligan's Island.
Hey everybody, it's Endcard Justin here. Let me know down in the comments. Do you remember Gilligan's Island? Did you grow up watching Gilligan's Island? Was this a show that is beloved for you? Let me know what you're thinking down in the comments down below. But in the meantime, if you'd like to see the full podcast that this is from, I couldn't think of another reason to watch this special. You can click the box on the left, or if you just want to see a random video that YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy, click the box on the right. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. We put new videos out 7 days a week. If you just leave this video a like, that helps us out too. We'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day, everybody.